Right, and we're back. In that last time lapse, I went in and just tried to tidy up a few things. Added a few details, some creases and some cracks, and just emphasised a few things along the body. Detailed some of these areas across the brows. Picked out little individual plates and scoots and just gave them a little bit of detail. Kind of on the home straight here. There's still a seam here from Noisemaker that I need to adjust, but I'll do all those on the final pass. I think I want to jump in now and show you what the tileable alphas can do on a huge area of the T-Rex. I'm not going to go in with painting, just go in with good old mask. Just mask out a nice area. Vary the size. We're done. Let's just zoom in so we can see where we are. I could go in there with the focal shift up here to get a sharper edge, but we don't really want to do that. We're going to actually use the soft edge of the mask to our advantage to get a nice smooth transition. Move him down. Just hit frame and look at what we've got. We'll want this to blend to a different type of texture underneath its head, so nice soft transition there. We can try and do this whole body piece in one pass. Check, we've got everywhere over the back. And nearly there. Invert the mask. Oh, while I'm here as well, we've got a nice area of skin available. In the asset pack, we've got a couple of vector displacement brushes that, should you want to sculpt some of the scoots, you can just actually go in and drag them out over the surface. I'll leave that to do on yours. I'm not going to do that on mine. But in there, if you want to go crazy, there are a few odd shapes, spines, plates. Possibly better suited to a dragon, but have fun, experiment, just play. It's your T-Rex after all. Right, over to Noisemaker. Hit noise. I've already got the alpha I want to use loaded in. So find a better place. Up the strength. Have a look at that, what that does. That's not bad. It may change after we've applied to mesh. Let's have a look at what it does. Well, the one thing I hope you notice is, because we're actually using a tileable alpha on the UVs, it's following the indentations of these creases. If we're trying to drag an alpha across a deep crevice like that, it wouldn't look the same. Wouldn't be as effective at all. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. We can go in and pick out details and wrinkles later. Just for now, invert your mask. Take advantage of the fact we've got this area masked and go into lasso. Just capture some of this. Okay. And we'll protect the arms and the chest for now. Got X symmetry on, you notice. Right, back to standard masking. And protect this under here. keep inverting. Get yourself in a better place to protect these scales underneath the jaw. Nibble in and get those. While we're here, we can just gently smooth out this area so there's a nicer transition. And let's see if we can get a different pattern underneath here. Edit, move them into position. You could try just actually going finer. See what that does. And that kind of makes sense. If this guy's biting big chunks of other dinosaurs, he's going to swallow it, and this gullet's going to have to expand. Let's just mix it up and try a different alpha. Try the one with the wrinkles on. Oh, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to apply to mesh. Let Zbrush do the numbers. Like I said before, if you ever see the spinning blue circle of death, sit back from Zbrush. Okay, I'm actually going to clear the mask now so we can have a look. And again, another trick is switch materials, see it differently. I'm liking where this is going, so let's finish off this area here. Again, just gently masking the overlap. Just release pressure with your pen. If you find you can't actually draw on that area there, go back to your mask lasso. Capture it that way. And back. We want a soft transition here. We're going to try a completely different alpha on the belly. Right, and invert. Back to Noisemaker. Switch it back to the previous alpha. Get them in view. It was this one. Now you'll see that they do transition from the larger size to the smaller size, but it's just not quite there yet. Try that. It's good. Apply to mesh. That's the blue circle of death. Clear the mask. Now there is a bit of a transition there, but we can fix that very easily. Let's go into inflate. Right, this belly area, let's do something more interesting. You have to think of a T-Rex as being like, well, you assume it performed the way a modern lion would. It wouldn't walk around all day stomping about looking for bikini-clad cave women. It would possibly just eat something, fill its belly and have a sleep. So the underside of its body could be calloused and scarred. So we're going to try an alpha that will show that. Position it Now there may be an issue here because we're using the UVs. So let's have a look, see what we get. And I want to go for something like this. Change the scale. There's the UV seam. Now let's see what it's like when we turn UVs off and go just go 3D projection. Off a scale. That's actually working better than I thought. We're getting some stretching to the scales. It's looking quite natural. The strength. And apply to mesh. And it might seem like I've rushed this last stage of doing the body. It's not that the body's any less important, but for the sake of the tutorial, it is a speed texture for me. But it can be a lifesaver to use your alphas this way, and then go in and spend a few hours detailing and picking out little features that you didn't get with the alpha. I like that. Which is actually a really nice transition from scales to these plates. And they do quite happily follow some kind of shape to the geometry. Right, I think while we're here we're going to tackle this inner mouth area. So I'm going to go into solo mode. Let's have a look. If you remember, we did some poly painting here, which means, again, down to masking, mask by colour, mask by poly paint, and mask that green. And invert. Turn poly painting off. There we go. Now some of this we can tackle. The teeth are just going to be in the way, so we'll just see what we can do. Now there are actually some alphas that I've been using for years that have appeared on the Zbrush Central website. And this has been one of my favourites for a long time. Let's have a look. Z sub. Newbie error. Drag. Zoom. What you might want to do is make sure you've got back face mask highlighted as well. That's in the masking area of the brush. Drag this out and establish some nice fleshy areas. Be quite bold because we're going to go in there with the damp standard and sculpt as well. The trick to this is to try and make this area of the mouth look incredibly organic and fleshy. Bury the stroke on the alpha. Some interest in the throat. This would be incredibly tough palette material. Be chewing its way and swallowing bone and all sorts of things. So I like to do something as blatant as this to start with, then go in and sculpt on top. Let's just pop the teeth back into view. Okay. And again, nip over to inflate. And you really do start to build up a really weathered, leathery look. So if you're dependent just on the alpha to do this, people will recognize the alpha eventually, but if you go in and work the alpha afterwards, while we're here with the inflate, work around the area of the teeth. Make it look like they're protruding through sockets. Obviously, again, spend as much time as you think it deserves. Back to that alpha. Again, I keep saying it, I'm rushing like crazy. While we're here, just click on the tongue and select that. Mirror the same effect on the tongue. So use smoothing. Into solo mode. It's actually showing the teeth as well, they're all part of one subtool. You can vary this, you can come out of that alpha, pick something that just appears in the standard palette. Try just drawing it on the surface. Hold Alt. And it goes from a negative to a positive value of the brush in the alpha. Okay. Now back to the body. Alt and click on the subtool you want, and it selects that. We can now clear that. Let's look at these hands. Because one of the brushes that I do provide in the pack is Dino Detail and Scoop Brush. These are vector displacement brushes. Because one of them is incredibly useful here for doing this ridge of little overlapping knuckle plates. I don't know if there's actually a name for them. Draw it out. Keep Control Z until you're happy with the placement. So obviously I need to start just further over to this side. Oh, no back face mask. There you go. Try that there. I think I'll do some videos on creating these vector displacement brushes. It is a logical process, but some people can find it very frustrating. There we go. While we're here, let's go across, mask these out. Do you know, I want to try something. I'm just going to experiment on the fly, see if it works. Control Z these away. I haven't actually tried this yet. It should work. Pick a colour. Frame, RGB. Sample the blue. Use RGB when we draw this out. See if it works. Yep. Nearly. It's doing some of the work for us. Right. Turn off the alpha. Keep it in RGB. C to sample the colour. Let's zoom in. It's not perfect. You can go in and spend as much time as you think it needs. Right, so we've got some healthy amounts of poly paint on there for when we mask by poly paint. That's a little graphical glitch. It's appeared in every edition of Zbrush. Okay, masking. Mask by poly paint. Drag it on the blue. I'm not finding it on there, just turn that off. Let's zoom in on the hand itself. And move him over. And pick that. Okay. Turn RGB off so we can see the mask. Oh, it's not as accurate as I thought. Oh, it's just going to be 2 seconds to go in and sharpen up these edges. Now, drag rect. Pick a nice alpha for the hand. Draw it out. Go smaller here. Turn back face mask off while you're working on this. It'll wrap around the shapes better. Okay. So that, my friends, is the basic texturing on the T-Rex. I think what I'll do between now and the next video is spend an hour or two just gnarling up the teeth, adding some cracks and some texture. Chase a few details that I might have missed. But I think the next time I see you will be poly painting, which is a process I absolutely adore. There are so many tricks using masking, blending, smoothing the paint without affecting the skin surface. Okay, till the next one. Thank you.